Dragonfolk. Today we have a very special sponsored box opening for you. We're going to go ahead and take a trip in the Wayback Machine to the good old year 2020 and check out Ikoria. Dragonfolk, before we begin, I just wanted to let you know that this is a pre-recorded video. I am actually alive at the time of this recording, so if the edits seem a little wonky, or anything else happens, just realize that I did in fact do this live. Colin Nolan, the patron this is for, was not able to make it there live, but I did it live with viewers because I want to at least make it as genuine as possible. And with these box openings, I'm going to try something a little bit different and give you guys some information on the set itself as we open the product. So make sure to hang tight. Let me know what you think about the box opening in the comments down below. And I will see you all soon. Welcome on in, Dragonfolk. I hope everybody is having a fantastic day. I know I am. Today, we have a fantastic sponsored video. So one of our patrons and also the winner of our last giveaway at 500 subscribers has actually decided to sponsor us with a little something to give information to some players and kind of show off some sets that I have yet to open and also would like to open and share what the set meant for people during its time and maybe give some financial education towards the set as well as the cool cards that came in it. So, with that being said, we were talking amongst our patron messaging, and he had asked me. He said, "Alex, what box would you like to open? What box would you like to bring to your channel to give information on and kind of show off for everybody?" And I said, "Well, normally I just whatever you wanted. Patrons get a 15% discount on their order on my channel or on my Patreon. So how that works, I'm just like, well, I don't want to just think of something, but then again, I want to make sure that whatever I choose is going to be interesting enough. And I was thinking back to the 2020 product. And that's how we came to here. This is the very first opening of Ikoria for me. And it is, fun fact, also the very first opening of Ikoria for Colin as well. So I'm very happy to be the fine person to open this for him. And I'm happy that Colin got to sponsor this video. So while we're going to open this, I'll go ahead and, well, first we got to find the knife that I'm going to open this thing with. So while we're opening this, I'll kind of give one of the three things that I like to talk about when it comes to Ikoria. First and foremost, it is a 2020 product. 2020 product was at the beginning of the Pan Pizza. The Pan Pizza caused a lot of problems with production. And because of that, they didn't produce as much of this stuff. But that's just one of the many reasons to get yourself some sealed boxes of this or even open one for yourselves. Because Ikoria comes with this. Ikoria gets a fun little box topper. And we're going to go ahead and save that towards maybe right around the middle of the box. What I want to do is I want to split this up into three kind of categories almost, right? I want to show off the purpose behind the cards, what they stand for, right? What are the cool things that came in Ikoria? And so with that comes a lot of information. So if you like to educate yourself, here we are. So Ikoria, and hopefully we just kind of run into this, but Ikoria came out with one thing that was a big addition to Magic. And that big thing was Mutate. We're also going to go ahead and just pop that down there. So Mutate was huge. And we'll go ahead and go over that as we see it. You also got a lot of fantastic, just like generally most of these cards, a lot of elementals, beasts, right? This is a behemoth set, so there's a lot of beasts and such. A lot of fantastic Death Touch black cards, a lot of good removal for white. But overall, it's a very fun and entertaining set. And there's a lot of cool things you can do. Cycling came back in this set. Was very, very prevalent with Jeskai Cycling, which was probably one of the most well-known decks during that format of Standard. All right, we're coming up to our rare, I believe. Titan's Nest. Okay. All right, what do we got here? Beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. You may put that card into your graveyard. Exile card from your graveyard, add colorless. Spend this mana only to cast a colored spell without X in its mana cost. And a Windscarred Crag. And that. So, cool. Rares will go there. Tokens and such will go there. So, Mutate is a fantastic ability, essentially allowing you to stack your creatures on top or below one another. And with that being the case, you were able to make some pretty crazy abilities go off. A lot of enter the battlefield abilities. A lot of cool additional routes that you were able to go to. Serrated Scorpion, a fantastic card from this set. And there's the Mutate ability right there. So we're going to talk about it. Mutate essentially allows you to cast this spell for its Mutate cost. So instead of 3 and a green, you can pay 2 and a green. And you can put this over a target non-human creature. And then they mutate into this. So you can put it above or below. A lot of them have abilities that happen when they mutate, or the creature that it is attached to mutates. So essentially, every time you do a mutate on this creature, or whatever creature is below it or above it, so on and so forth, they all share the same abilities from one another. And every time they mutate, something cool happens. So, love the idea behind Mutate. I thought it was a very, very fantastic thing. And overall, it seemed to go really well with the Standard at the time. Kahira is actually moving on to our next cool little piece of information, but we'll get to Kahira in a bit. I'll go ahead and put her to the side for right now. But Kahira itself is a fun one. Zagoth Mamba for the foil. Go with that. Let's actually put the foils up there. That's fine. Foils can go up there. And then a beast token. So, like I said, there's a lot of cool stuff that comes out of Ikoria. And I was so blown away with this set. And I was really sad because I think by the time I started to actually get into it, I stopped playing. Or I just started playing and it was just coming out of print. Look at these showcase arts. Look at these showcase arts. This is another one of the more fantastic things about this set. These showcase arts, insane. Foil or non-foil, doesn't matter. They're amazing. They all look really, really good. They're in a very, like, comic book style art. Ooh, what a hit are we talking about here? Drannith Magistrate, probably one of the better rares to pull out of this box. We'll go ahead and take that all the way to the bank. And then, of course, we've got some other goodies. So the next thing that we're going to talk about, actually, is the Tri-Lands, or more specifically from this set, the Triomes. Triomes, now we've had Tri-Lands in the past, right? Tri-Lands have been something of, look at this thing. God dang it. Tri-Lands have been something of a fantastic addition because, of course, there are a lot of 3-color lands. Also, heads up to Lutri, banned in Commander. And I will tell you why in a little bit. But essentially what is happening is you have these Tri-Lands. Tri-Lands are 3-color lands. And these 3-color lands are... they were found a lot in Khans of Tarkir, as well as Dragons of Tarkir. And the cool thing about it is that, they came into play tapped, right? So they were kind of like meh, but they came into play tapped, and that was just kind of the whole concept. They didn't have the basic land types on them. Offspring's Revenge for there, and a Jungle Hollow, and some nonsense. So they didn't have any of the land types or anything. It was just a basic tap land, slow as heck. Nobody really liked it. Then came the Triomes from Ikoria. Triomes are a brand new type of land that were introduced in Ikoria, and then the set was finished off in... Ooh, that Gem Razor, though. Let's go. They were then finished off in Streets of New Capenna. Streets of New Capenna had the last 5 remaining Triomes printed. And the cool thing about these Tri-lands is they did still come into play tapped, but they had the basic land types, which means they were searchable with fetches, and you could cycle them. You could cycle them for 3 mana. Therefore, if you drew it late in the game and it wasn't the card you were looking for, you could just cycle it out of your hand. It worked out to be really, really good. A lot of people really enjoyed the what do you call it? I guess the different variations you can use it. And because of that, it gained a lot of popularity. Triomes are still going for a pretty penny, not anywhere near what like fetches and shocks are, but they should, because considering these are going to be probably a while before these get reprinted. Look at that Sea Dasher Octopus. Look at this art. I kid you not. Like, oh gosh, amazing. Literally so cool. The art, the showcase art for this stuff is really, really amazing. I've collected almost the entirety of the showcase art in foil, except for the Triomes, because the foil Triomes and their showcase arts are like $40 a piece. So that's a lot. So with all these Triomes, right, you know, the 3-colored land cycle was kind of started, and a lot of people were getting into that. And the 3-color land cycle was doing real well, considering the format. You know, a lot of it was, you know, dual-colored. You got a lot of Dimir in Throne of Eldraine. Obviously, a lot of players tend to stick to 2 colors, strictly because 2 colors tend to play better together for a lot of people. But 3 colors is where you kind of can start moving things in the direction that you want them to. Porcuparrots, Channeled Force, a Frondland Felidar. Frondland? What a funny name. Oh, and a Foil Mountain. Look at that. Beautiful. So, the Triomes did really well. That is actually probably one of the things most of you would be searching for if you were to open a box like this, is a Triome. Because the Triomes fetch a pretty penny. Migratory Greathorn. That's what this guy was talking about. The Triomes fetch a pretty penny. And overall, I think they're not too bad. Ooh, Ruinous Ultimatum. And an Auspicious Sterix. Also pretty good. There you go. Ruinous Ultimatum. The Ultimatums were also a fantastic addition to Ikoria, because you had a lot of decks that could go crazy. But the one thing I wanted to go over as we kind of get through the first third of the box, let's get a Triome right here, huh? Gotha. Man, they're really, really coming at me with these things, huh? All right, that's fine. I see you. Speaking of that, then, what I did want to talk about is these guys. You'll notice that they have something called Companion on them. Companion was an interesting thing that was also introduced in Commander. Or not Commander, I'm sorry. Companion was introduced in standard, you know, constructed formats, I guess also Commander as well. And Companion was kind of an interesting way for decks to be built. So let's take a look at Lutri, right? Lutri's ability was each non-land card in your starting deck has a different name. So in order for you to use this Companion, companions were essentially cards that you kept outside of the deck, and they were almost like a commander. You were able to summon them at any point, but if they died, they went to the graveyard. There wasn't a commander tax or anything. It would just die. And fun fact, these cards got so crazy overpowered, and Mark Rosewater even really regretted making something like this. And because of that, they actually changed the rules. You no longer were able to just summon them from outside the game onto the battlefield through their companion cost here. You instead had to pay 3 generic mana to bring it to your hand, and then you could play it like any other card. And the cool thing about a lot of these cards is they all have different companion abilities, right? This one requires you to have each non-land card in your starting deck to have a different name. Great for Commander, obviously, because every card in your deck has a different name. Kahira the Orphan Guard. Each creature card in your starting deck is a cat, elemental, nightmare, dinosaur, or beast card. That allowed you to play Kahira as your companion. And of course, they do also get cool little abilities, like each other creature you control that's a cat, elemental, nightmare, dinosaur, or beast gets a +1/+1, has vigilance. Lutri's ability was, when Lutri the Spell Chaser enters the battlefield, if you cast it, copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. It also had Flash. Powerful. It's a powerful card. That was the introduction of companions. Companions, that was the third thing that I wanted to talk about in regards to Ikoria. A very cool introduction to this. I really enjoyed talking about what the set actually brings instead of just looking over the individual cards themselves and just saying their names. I think everybody kind of has a general idea and at least knows how to read, right? Dismal Backwater. But for those of you that don't know how to... Ooh! For those of you who don't know how to read, right, then I'm going to do my best to at least speak in the best way I can. Unpredictable Cyclone in foil. What's a foil rare? Very first one. So, as far as financial goes, right, I mean, it's definitely a good call to pick something like this up. You can open it. You can keep it sealed however you wish. It's definitely going to do you better sealed, I would say, just because this is a kind of short printed-ish product. But the, there's Yadaro, the Wandering Monster. We got another foil. There you go. Gas Squad Marshal. I gotta say, there's something about these foils that look different than the rest. Does that look different to you guys? Because normally these things would curl like nobody's business, and the foiling would be all over the card. But these ones are just the border and the art. This white part in here does not have foiling on it. So that's kind of interesting. I wonder if that is something they chose to do for Ikoria. I wish they would have kept that. That certainly would have made things easier. I have to find a full foil card and see whether or not I'm just crazy. But as far as financial, this is a great place to start, right? The product costs about $130 after tax or something for a draft booster box. Ooh, Obosh, this is a crazy one. I love this companion. This guy's cool. Your starting deck contains only cards with odd converted mana costs and land cards. And if a source you control with an odd converted mana cost would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to permanent or player instead. Play this in mono red. Disgusting. Disgusting. Love that. But there's just good cards, right? You've got Triumphs, you've got the monsters, right? Like the Wandering, or like Apex of Forever, Brokos, or you have things like Nethroi are also fantastic. You have things like Dranith Mage. Also, I don't recall, but I don't think I've pulled a Mythic yet. It didn't look like I pulled a Mythic yet. I might have just been insane. I'm going to look through these things real quick. Colossification, a fantastic rare. Very good. Very good rare. Memory Leak. Just gonna make sure I didn't pull a Mythic. Because I tend to get lost in the sauce when I'm talking. No, we're good. Cool. So, it's definitely a very fun set, you know. I think the draft turned out to actually be pretty cool for this, with all the different mutate and everything, and the the 3 colors were able to really manifix a lot of cool stuff for draft. And frankly, it's just neat. Oh, there's our mythic. Luca Coppercoat Outcast. Probably one of the least exciting mythics in this set. But Luca, we like to see planeswalkers. That's cool. I'm down for that. And then these here. So the draft was pretty okay. I never got to do it, right? I would love to. If at any point in my life I hope to get a few of these boxes, I'd like to draft it at some point. But I don't think that'll be far. Zenith Flare. Let's just talk about this card. This card was the whole reason that I started liking this. This is probably one of my more favorite cards from here. Zenith Flare was the whole reason Jeskai Cycling was a card, or was a deck, and Jeskai Cycling was rocking standard. Deals X damage to any target if you gain X life, where X is the number of cards with a cycling ability in the graveyard. So your whole deck was based around Flourishing Fox and Zenith Flare, and also you got, there's a card from Throne of Eldraine that allows you to summon a fairy every time you draw a second card. So that's kind of neat. Zenith Flare, and it's an uncommon, right? Like, that was kind of the wildest part. This card right here, this is the reason people won their games with Jeskai Cycling, and it's an uncommon card. Blew my mind. Oh, there's another mythic. Cheville. Bane of Monsters. All right, we'll take 2 mythics. I'm down for that. But yeah. I don't know. There's not too much I can say about the product after giving out all that information to everybody. I must say there's a ton of really cool stuff from the set. You've got the showcase art, which is just like amazing. You've got a lot of really cool cards that synergize well with one another. You've got Mutate. You've got crazy flying elemental cats. Look at that thing. What? Okay. It's insane. I love everything about it. And the fact that I can just already off the top of my head name 3 things that I know are really 4 if you include the showcase arts that are just like so iconic. I would say this is probably one of my most favorite sets to come out of Magic's history. And I really do like that. It is, it seems to have had quite an impact on a lot of different formats. On top of this, is that a borderless card? Oh, Colin! Oh, Colin! Colin, bro, we like to see that. We'll take a borderless into the Triumph all day of the week. Absolutely. These are the Triumphs we were talking about. You see, it says land, plains, swamp, forest. It comes in the battlefield tapped. It taps for any of these 3 colors, and it's got a cycling 3. What a sick hit. What a sick hit, my guy. That goes right up there. How awesome. Love to see it. So you can't really beat that into the Triome. I mean, like, I think, what is it? I think Ketria Triome is the best one. Ketria Triome or Savai Triome. Oh, man, I can't remember what they're called. But I definitely know that the Triomes, even in their regular arts, are super worth it. So it was definitely a fantastic pull. And I'm very happy that you were able to net that out of there. So, very fun times. Like I said, I cannot, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't recommend this set enough. There is so many fun little cards in here. So much synergy between 3 different colors. You get Mutate. You have the Triomes. Are we getting another Bordeaux card? Am I crazy? That's a rare. Nope, I am crazy. Don't mind the crazy man. Oh, see, this is your little companion thing. This is where you'd put your companion. But very interesting thing. So that's that. So Colin has been oh so kind as to take one of these packs. You know what? Let's take a look at the arts and see where we're at. Kolga, this thing, Vivian. All right, I think those are the only three there. We're gonna choose Kolga. Polga is being donated by Colin. This pack is being donated by Colin. This is going to go in our box of packs that we are going to give away when we hit 1,000 subscribers. So hopefully we hopefully we get there faster than I would think. I'm not too sure how I want to do that giveaway yet. I want to make sure that everybody's involved, but I do know that I want something special for patrons because, you know, patrons have been supporting me for a long while. And I know that, you know, obviously I wouldn't be here without the subscribers. So that's definitely a, you know, you got to give something back to them because you guys are great. All right. What do we got in the back here? Extinction Event. A crazy board wipe, this thing. This was a wild concept. Choose odd or even. Exile each creature with converted mana cost of the chosen value. 0 is even. Insane. This was such a wild board wipe considering everybody had a bunch of different value cards. It was a very, very cool way to do things, I must say. All right. We're on to our last stack of packs here. Hoping to pull some juice. Obviously, you know, the end of the Triumph, there's no way that could be the only thing that we have here. There's no way that that's the only thing that we have left. Look at the freaking Cavern Whisperer. I can't. Every time I pass by these showcase arts, I'm blown away. It just doesn't make any sense how good these are. I just don't get it. Genesis Ultimatum. Another Ultimatum card. One of those big three color crazy sorceries that do some insane stuff. But yeah, that's kind of my verdict. My verdict is that the set is amazing. And granted, I don't know the entire pull rate. I'm sure you get better pull rates on these Triumphs in the actual in the collector's box that exists, which is going for quite a bit right now. But look at there, Zinda, the Dawnwaker, or Zirda. This is the, I think we pulled just about every single one of these companions besides Luris at this point. I think I'm maybe missing one, but we seem to be pulling just about every single one, which is kind of cool. But I know that it's a fantastic set. It's draftable. Flourishing Fox is a great card, right? You've also got that addition of cycling, and cycling does really, really well for kind of choosing your, you know, making your choices, I guess, more so. Because you want to, this is an Into the Crystal. This is essentially an artifact version of the Triome, which is kind of neat. But you get to make a lot of choices, right? You can get a companion and make your deck companion based. That usually changes your game if you're able to get a companion. At least back then it was a lot easier to get a companion out. Nowadays it's not so easy. Definitely is a lot slower, but they had to do it, right? The rules were insane. Luris was too strong, so Luris was banned in several things. Umori the Collector. That's another one of the companions we have not gotten yet. But Luris was actually, fun fact, for those of you that don't know, Luris was the first card to be banned in Vintage since 1996, I want to say. So, just because of how powerful it was. Funny enough, though, it was unbanned in like a year later or something. There's Everquil Phoenix. I think this is the card that Pat hates with a passion, is Everquil Phoenix. I don't know why. It's a cool card, but Everquil Phoenix, it's one of the Phoenixes. One of those Phoenix cards. So far, not gonna lie, Colin, it's a good fun time learning about this, but I think all your spice is gonna be here in the back. So at least I certainly hope so. Because you deserve that spice after sponsoring such a video. Winota, man, this would have been a better pull if it wasn't banned in Pioneer. Winota, Joiner of Forces. This was a absolute pub stomp in Pioneer until they banned her. But it's a fantastic mythic nonetheless, and Commander doesn't give two craps about it. So can always do that. So very, very cool. Winota was so powerful. I mean, you essentially got to cascade your deck to bring out creatures like over and over and over again, and it was just so insane and hard to keep up with that eventually they were like, well, we gotta do something about that. Oh, a borderless Vivian Monsters Advocate. Look at that. 2 borderless cards in this. I told you all the spices in the back. That's 2 mythics in a row. Look at that. How amazing. God, that looks good. And it's in that same art too. Like, you really can't complain. It's good. Oh, you got a foil too? Foil Sonorous Howlbond. Howlbonder? Howlbonder. Howlbonder. Amber. So we've gotten a lot of these, the borderless cards, which are really cool. Again, right, you're able to get just about every variant of a card out of this, except for Extended Arts. Extended Arts, I believe you can only get in the Collector's Edition, but of course, a lot of people kind of like the borderless ones over anything else. So some people like one, some people like the other. Another Jingatha. This is filled with these companions. I mean, filled with them, you guys. There are so many companions. This is just the companion pile alone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 companions in this one thing. You know what, though? Before we get on to the last couple of packs, let's open the final thing that I really enjoyed about Ikoria. The box topper. You can also find these in the collector booster boxes, and they are able to be in foil in the booster boxes for that, but these cards are box toppers exclusive to Ikoria. Let me get this out of here without trying to bend any corners or anything. It's always the hardest part, is getting them out of these single card packs. Okay. This is what the box topper is. Godzilla Primeval Champion. So you got them in foil through the box toppers as well. A foil Godzilla Primeval Champion. This was my very first full collection. These Godzilla alternate arts from the box toppers of Ikoria. They're all just skins of cards that are from this set, but they're Godzilla themed. So it's really cool. I don't know. I love the concept behind it. The set was originally going for like $350 or something for everything. It's gone down in price significantly, but it is still pretty valuable. And I think more so it's because it's so unique, you know? Such a unique thing to have. Mythos of Illuna as our next rare. Whoop, just throwing land everywhere. Excuse me. Of course, you have a main serval. Again, look at the foiling for these. I genuinely, I have to find one. Hold on, there's got to be a foil around here somewhere, right? I am not crazy. Oh my god. So this is a foil for Ikoria. I don't know. Wow, man, this is something I literally just noticed. This is a foil for Ikoria. Its foiling is only in the outer border and the art. Whereas the foiling for Clever Lumimancer for Strixhaven, a set that came out like a year later, is fully foiled. These are cards that curl. I didn't know they changed the foiling on this. Well, ain't that something? Now you know, and knowing half the battle, isn't it? That's what I say. So, we're coming down to our last few packs. Let's go ahead and get some good stuff out of here. I'm excited to see what you've got. Let's get another Triome out of here at least. I'd like to get at least one more Triome. I feel like it wouldn't be a good box if it wasn't for another... Oh! Man, but we'll take a Luris, though. Look at him. The infamous Luris himself. You guys want to know the reason he was banned in Vintage and Legacy? He's still banned in Legacy, I believe. But every permanent has to be 2 or less in your deck, and X is 0 considered. Then you also have lifelink on him. He can be played in white or black or both. And during each of your turns, you may cast 1 permanent spell with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard. So before the switch to making him, have to be brought back to the hand, or brought to the hand before he can be brought out, he was powerful because you were essentially able to just kind of go off. And all your deck was really cheap. It was great for like small like white weenie decks, and it was a good time. It was a good time. I definitely wish I was playing back in that moment. But Bonder's Enclave for our rare there. All right, we've got one more pack left. Let's make it happen, right? You little tiny quill-looking thing. How about we get a dang Triome out of you, huh? I believe, because otherwise it's not a super fantastic thing. I mean, you got a lot of these companions, but what do you guys think? Triome, right? I think it's happening. I think we're going to have another Triome at the end of this. Go ahead and see what's happening. Bump it a bump 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 bump. That's at least pretty. Lord Dracus, beautiful. A Quartzwood Crasher as our rare. Quartzwood Crasher is what we got. Oh, but we did pull something a little bit more fun out of the back of this. You got 2 Drannith Mages. 2 Drannith Magistrate from this set. That's amazing. And one of them's in foil. So overall, I would say the actual set itself, you didn't get an Ozolith, which is probably one of the more popular cards from this set. You did get 2 Drannith Magistrate. You did also get this fantastic, literally the reason you guys should buy Ikoria are these things right here. This is absolutely worth every penny. And if you don't want to buy a whole booster box and try to hunt for them or anything like that, then buy the singles. These are just beautiful. But again, I wanted to thank Colin so much for continuing to support the channel and have a sponsored box of his own. I wanted to thank him for donating one of these packs from Ikoria to the vault. And I wanted to thank all of you for watching today's video. So hopefully you learned something about Ikoria, something you never thought you'd know before. And if you guys enjoyed this in-depth kind of discussion about Ikoria and about the sets that I'd be opening, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. I'd be more than happy to talk amongst all of you. And while you're down there writing that comment, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel as well if you have not already. I like to continue to make all this content for you guys, and I know we don't do a whole lot of box openings, but my patrons are definitely one to help out in giving me some content to kind of go over and research and make fun videos on. So hopefully all of you learned something today, and I'll see you all real soon. Nerd out.